Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Bryce from BIS Media, and I have a great comparison to go over with you guys, and that being the Panasonic UB820 versus the UB9000. They're both great 4K players overall, but we'll go over their similarities and their differences to determine which is the better buy and which one fits your needs best. But before we get into the comparison, if you've never been to my channel before, I'd like to say welcome. If you like home theater reviews, tech reviews, digital movie giveaways, and physical media unboxings, then consider hitting that subscribe button, liking this video to get this out to more people, and leaving me a comment on which player you think is best. So, with the intro out of the way, let's take a look at the similarities between these two players. And as you'll soon discover, there are a lot more in common between these two than different. Both of these players can handle all the HDR formats available, so whether it be HDR10, HDR10+, Dolby Vision, or even HLG, you will be covered by either player. I think this is a vital thing for consumers because you shouldn't have to be forced to buy the flagship model to enjoy HDR playback capability, and Panasonic made sure that wasn't the case. Another similarity between these two players is playable formats. Both players can play 4K UHDs, Blu-rays, 3D Blu-rays, DVDs, CDs, MP3, WAV, MP4, and other files, which is great, so unless you have a dead format or a more uncommon format like Super CD, then you should be able to properly enjoy your physical media collection. And the biggest draw of Panasonic's top-tier 4K players is the HDR optimizer, which is yet another similarity between the two. This feature really sets Panasonic's 4K players apart from the rest of the market, and in my opinion, really justifies getting a dedicated player rather than watching a movie on a gaming console. If you're unfamiliar with this feature, it allows you to adjust HDR brightness on non-Dolby Vision discs, and it can really bring out the detail and colors in what otherwise may be a dim visual. I'll link my video on how to use this feature in the top right corner if you'd like to learn more. And lastly, of all the similarities between these two players is the user interface and network features. Both players boast of their streaming capabilities, which you can do via Wi-Fi or Ethernet, but the problem is it's just simply not very good. You can stream Netflix, YouTube, or Prime Video, but after that, you're out of luck. The App Store is basically non-existent, and there looks to be no support whatsoever. There are other apps available, but I don't think anyone has ever heard of them. The interface could also use an upgrade as it looks like it's stuck in the early 2000s, but it's not the biggest deal as it's more of an eyesore more than anything. I've also got an entire video going into detail on this as well, if you're interested. So the user interface and network features wraps up the similarities between these two players, and that leaves us with the differences, which is what I'm sure you really want to know about. As I said before, I think these players are more similar than different, but there is a good amount of small differences that may make or break your overall decision. Probably the first thing you'll notice while looking at them side by side closely is the build quality. They both rock a digital screen on the front and have metal chassis, but as you can see side by side, there is a night and day difference. The UB820 weighs a lowly 5.2 pounds compared to the UB9000's whopping 17.2, and you can surely feel it when picking it up and moving it. The UB820 has a plastic front flap covering the disc tray that feels rather cheap, while the UB9000 proudly displays this tray and has a metal front to it. If you're worried about kids running about or you have a move coming up, then the UB9000 will stand a lot more punishment than its counterpart. The next thing you'll notice when checking out the exterior of the player when looking at the backside is the inputs and outputs. Both players have dual HDMIs, Ethernet, digital optical out, and 3.0 USBs, but as you can see on the UB9000, you can also connect your entire surround via XLR and RCA outputs straight to your receiver or amplifier. This can be particularly useful if you have older speakers or if you do serious audio playback listening sessions. Continuing on with physical differences, you'll also notice a big difference in the remotes. The UB820's remote is short and cramped compared to the UB9000's, which can cause issues with hitting other buttons you didn't mean to, and on top of that, it's not backlit. The UB9000, on the other hand, is elongated, backlit, and has a spread out button layout, and it has a solid feedback response with each press. I'm a huge fan of the UB9000 remote, and it's probably my favorite OEM remote I've ever had the pleasure of using. Now, those are all the main differences you can see on the exterior, but there are a few things internally as well. Banking out the physical differences, I mentioned how the disc trays were set up, and I believe that plays a part in disc playback noise. The UB820 isn't loud by any means, but it has a louder fan noise during playback, and the tree is noisier upon open and close. The UB9000 is close to graveyard quiet during playback, and the disc tray opens much smoother without a flap to push out the way. Another thing you may notice is that the UB9000 is THX certified and the UB820 is not. But what does that mean exactly? So basically the THX certification ensures high quality sound reproduction and in this case also video reproduction by enforcing strict standards of performance and acoustic measurement. In other words, this means the sound you hear in the video you see is virtually identical to how it was mastered. But I won't lie to you all, I couldn't tell a difference in picture quality despite it boasting a slight bump, nor could I tell a difference in audio quality. But before you attack me in the comments for saying there's no difference in audio quality, I will say that I played my surround sound low in the night due to having a 1-year-old, so I couldn't fully immerse myself in the audio capabilities. For the record, I do believe the audio quality is better due to feedback and forums I've researched online, so don't kill me, guys. And with that being said, that covers all the similarities and differences between these two players, and I must say I really like both of these models. If cost is an issue and you want the best of the best, then I'd say pick up the UB9000 because it will give you all that you need. However, for $400 to $500 cheaper, you can grab the UB820 and it will perform similarly to the UB9000, minus those few differences I highlighted earlier. That's personally the route I went because although the UB9000 is beautifully crafted and almost flawless, the small differences just didn't equate for the $1,000 price tag for me. In the end, they're both great 4K players, and you should ultimately pick up the player that you think is best and better suits your budget. I think you'll be happy with either one. If you'd like to pick up the UB820 or the UB9000, I'll have my Amazon affiliate links for each player in the description. It's no extra cost to you, and I receive a small commission that really helps out the channel, so I'd greatly appreciate it. Be sure to leave a like and comment if this comparison was helpful for you, and you can check out my full review and unboxings on these players in the pinned comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.